Hey guys, welcome back to Walking with Jesus Daily. As in every single day we walk with Him. We are continuing our journey. This is the milk section of day 89. And it's actually, you see maybe on the paper that there's below it says like day 29. I'm trying to make sure that we know that we are in our personal journey of the day 89. However, the number of events, this should be 29. So it just kind of keeps track of it in two different ways. So don't pay much attention to that. But we are going to see the very first miracle of Jesus, and we're going to see this in a multitude of ways. But let's read it and let God speak. And if you're interested in the meat after that, meet me over there. Dad joke. Okay, on the third day. All right, third day. What was taking place? Okay, Nathaniel, Philip, probably Andrew, Peter, possibly John. We with Jesus. We don't get all the conversations. We get like a snapshot of each day. This is on the third day. On the third day, there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee. Now remember, Cana was about 4 miles, give or take, from Nazareth. Apparently this is where Nathaniel was from, Jesus from Nazareth. And Andrew, Peter, Andrew, and Philip, I believe, was Bethsaida, a little bit of a distance from there around the Sea of Galilee. Now, they're attending a wedding. In order to truly understand what a wedding is, you'd have to dig into Jewish tradition on how a wedding is performed. There is plenty of information out there on this. I don't plan on explaining it too greatly, okay? But this is what we do know. And the mother of Jesus was there. It does not mention Jesus' dad. Tradition would have it that Joseph had already passed at this time. Why? How? I don't know the answers to any of these. I really wish I did, but obviously I don't. So what we do know is there was a wedding. It was 3 days later, and Jesus is there. It's in Cana, and so is Mary, his mother. It says Jesus also was invited to the wedding with his disciples. Obviously, they knew who this person was because they were invited to the wedding. And Jesus was not only invited, but he was allowed to bring his disciples. So this is pretty cool. So they're at this wedding. Remember what a wedding actually is. It's not a party. It's a celebration of two people devoting their lives to one another before God. It's two people saying, I'm going to make you more important than me. I'm going to do everything in my power to be selfless and to love you in an incredible way, and not myself. I'm going to protect you, or I'm going to lift you up, or I'm going to be submissive, or I'm going to be whatever God has planned in a wedding. And he makes it clear the roles of men and women. And it doesn't really matter what your tendencies are, okay? Everybody is different, yes. But if you're a man, you're a man. If you're a woman, you're a woman. And marriage works in the way that God intended for it to work. So when we read about a wedding, it's a beautiful thing that we are excited about. It doesn't always mean that people are there getting trashed and drinking a bunch of alcohol. The word wine does not always refer to an alcoholic beverage. You can do some study and you can look into it, or you can just look at things the way they are and the way God made them, and you can discover what God would approve and what he would not, what is holy and what is sober-minded and what is not. Like, we're not going to get into a big discussion on this because there's really no discussion. However, it says, when the wine ran out, and this was an embarrassment to a family. Now you think about this, okay? Jesus was invited with his disciples. So this is more people coming, and it was no accident that the wine ran out. But it would bring shame to people. This is sad. It's life, but it's sad. Instead of people being thankful for what they did receive by going to the wedding, they would be looked down on because they couldn't throw a proper traditional Jewish wedding for their daughter and their son. Nobody wants shame on them, but I'm not going to get into the meat portion. Let's just keep going. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to Jesus, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does this have to do with me?" And you say, well, why would he address his mother as woman? And why would she come to Jesus at all, explaining to him that that the wine ran out? Like, how is this possibly Jesus' problem? He was invited as a guest. Now, Mary knows who Jesus is. She doesn't ask him to do anything. She says one thing: they have no wine. And he says, "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come. The time for me to be revealed has not yet come." His mother said to the servants of the wedding, "Do whatever he tells you, even if it makes no sense at all." Right? I just love Mary so much for how soft-spoken she is. It says, "Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons, depending on the size, obviously. Jesus said to the servants, 'Fill the jars with water.' And they filled them up to the brim, to the very top. And he said to them, 'Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast.' So they took it. When the master of the feast tasted the water, now become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water, they knew. The master of the feast, the MC, called the bridegroom and said to him, 'Everyone serves the good wine first, and when people have drunk freely, then the poor wine.'" This again is not referring to people getting drunk. If you drink so much of something, eventually you kind of don't want more of it. But you have kept the good wine until now. Think about the good wine. Think about the Lord's Supper. Think about Jesus. The good wine. The pure wine coming from purification jars. Just think about it. It makes sense. This is not about a party. It's about Jesus. This, the first of his signs, Jesus did at Cana in Galilee, and brought his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and his brothers and his disciples, and they stayed there for a few days. I'm going to leave it at this. If you want to join me in the meet, I'll see you there. And if not, pray on this and let it sit on your heart. The first of Jesus' signs that he is the Son of God.